Let's start, though, of course, with... this is interesting, actually, this one. Premier League clubs, or the Premier League, have rejected Argentina's request to leave their players out the final round of matches before the World Cup starts. As they, of course, want to, A, prepare for it, and B, make sure their key players are fit. Now, the last round of games in the Premier League is the weekend of the 12th and the 13th. United play, I think we're away to Fulham on the 13th. That's the Sunday. And then, of course, it all kicks off the World Cup on the 20th, so a week later. I say kicks off, I mean Qatar against Ecuador is hardly a World Cup game, but that's the one we start with. So we've got a week.
But it's got a World Cup feel to it, that has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll be watching
Qatar and Ecuador, it just sounds like, yeah.
I just wonder what firstly, before we get your view as a fan, what would your view be as a player if you were still playing? Would you be happy if there was a week to go? It's going to be the biggest moment of a lot of players' lives. Some, of course, have played in many a World Cup, but for some, it might be the only chance they get. The last thing you want to do is to pick up an injury the week before. So you personally, as a player, if you were still playing, let's say for Spurs, and you are looking like you're going to go with England to a World Cup, right? I know that's difficult for you to imagine, but let's just say for a moment
for Villa.
Yeah, okay. How personally would you feel about playing in that last game or not playing in that last game?
As a player, you want to just play in the games that you can.
Do you?
Yeah, you do. I can remember it happening to me. Obviously, I didn't go as you alluded to there.
Yeah.
But I remember, you're right there, drinking the tea, nicking the mic and that, hitting the mic with it and that.
Yeah. I mean, it went unnoticed until you... Well, that was my ring on the glass.
Well, no, but that's what you do to me. When I try and do something, you tell the world. So, I remember I was at Charlton at the time.
Sorry, put the food down and carry on eating.
Liar. Well, people can see on YouTube. Last game of the season, we played at Old Trafford. I'm at Charlton. And it's kind of, am I going to go, am I not going to go? And Alan Kirbishley took me off at half-time. And I thought, what? Why have I done that? But he explained to me afterwards, I've taken you off because I feel, certainly with the season that I'd had, that I'd be guaranteed that 2006 World Cup. So he was like, I've taken you off as a precaution, give you the best possible opportunity to go. I was like, okay, cool. So I kind of understood.
All right.
Obviously, I didn't go.
Can I ask, so what team were you at? Charlton?
Charlton, yeah.
Right. Did that game mean anything to your season? Like,
not really.
You weren't going to qualify for Europe. You weren't going to go down.
It was just like mid-table game.
Okay, all right.
But it just
I can understand. That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, but when you don't go, you go, I wish I played that last 45. But as a player, you don't really want to rest up because I know you're talking about injuries and it could be the biggest moment of players' careers. But once players cross that white line, that doesn't even come into it. And also as well, you can get injured in training. Do you know what I mean?
I know. But the more you're taken out of the firing range,
but then don't train either. Anything can happen.
What about fans then, from a fan's
perspective?
They will
absolutely. Well, it's a difficult one because you think, right, and I guess it then comes down to club versus country, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because if you're a Spurs fan and you've got Harry Kane, do you really want him?
One game we're talking, right?
We're talking one game. It's one of them. Do you want him to go away with England, but then miss that last round of games because you want him rested for England? Or do you want him to play in every single minute of every single game for Tottenham?
See, for me, right, I would love to see England win the World Cup in my lifetime, right? Obviously, the last time we won anything was 66, right? It might be another 66 years from where we are now, right? I would give up quite a lot to see England win the World Cup.
Well, Manchester United win the Premier League title.
Yeah, I'd give that up. I've seen Man United do it. I'd give up Man United winning the Premier League for the next 4 years. We probably won't win it for the next 4 years, but you never know. But I just think we love football, right? And when the World Cup comes around, there's that real feel-good factor.
Yeah.
And if just before the World Cup started, Harry Kane got an injury, I hope he doesn't.
But it's happened before, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Beckham, Rooney.
We've seen it before, right?
Yeah.
Declan Rice. If key players we go into the World Cup as football fans going, oh, no, we're not full strength. And I think we've got a really good chance to do well. I'm not going to say win it, but I think we've got a really good chance to. And I just think imagine what the whole nation will feel like if England won the World Cup. We'd never ever experience that again.
Also, the Premier League don't want people watering down their product by taking players out, resting players for certain games. Because you've also got to think from a fan's perspective. Yeah. Imagine, and this is an extreme scenario. Imagine you live halfway across the world and you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
And you've paid all your money to go over and watch Tottenham in this game.
Yeah.
Star players, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, these guys, and then the club go, no, you know what, we're going to rest him for the World Cup. As a football fan, you'd be spewing. You'd be so angry. I've gone all the way across.
I don't know if it's one game before a World Cup. If it was half a season, I get it, or a couple of weeks, I get it. But one game before a World Cup. Let's go into the World Cup with everyone.
So you think that's the right thing to do then?
Let's say, for argument's sake, right, I'm thinking of the key players Man United have got. Luke Shaw, right? Maybe Harry Maguire. I don't know, whether or not he's going to be, etc. I would be happy for Man United to rest key English players in that last game if it meant it made England stronger going into the World Cup.
Yeah.
I really would,
No.
yeah.
I'm the opposite. No,
Okay.
play for Arsenal, then you can go play for the country.
Okay, just to show hands in the crest there, who would happily rest their key English players at their club level for going into a World Cup?
Told you none.
Really?
None.
Okay.
So the first question: so you take England winning the World Cup and Manchester United not winning the Premier League for another 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Man United win everything.
Oh no chance.
I've seen Man United win everything.
Give me Arsenal win the Premier over England.
You'll never see that World Cup.
Fair enough. But Arsenal win the Premier League over...
What about top 4 for Arsenal?
Yeah. Or the World Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, the World Cup.
Okay.
But if you talk about winning the Premier League...
So you'd finish 5th and win the World Cup?
Yeah. Okay. I'd rather Arsenal win the Premier League.
Then England win the World Cup?
Yes.
You've said that to me before. I find that baffling.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.